Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I don't know what this was, I thought that we could do an updated Q&A video because I haven't done one in a couple of months. I think the last one that I did was October. I'll link that in the cards in case you want to check that out. But I thought it's been a good couple of months now and there's quite a few of you out there that are new to my channel. So I thought why not do an updated Q&A video. I love making these kind of videos. They're super fun for me to make and it's just a really easy way for you to get to know me a bit more. So I did put it out on Instagram and on YouTube asking if you had any questions. It's easier for me to do these kind of things on Instagram because Instagram has the tools to make it a bit easier, but I did ask on YouTube as well. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's just Miss Trina-Louise. So I thought we could just answer some of these questions. There were quite a few, some were a little bit similar. I'm not going to answer every question because there was quite a few, so if I don't answer yours, really sorry, but I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. So let me find a first question. I had a few questions that were like, what's your favourite thing on Netflix? What's your favourite TV show? So I'm going to wrap them all up into one TV filmed question. I don't have a favourite TV show, but there are some TV shows that I really love. So in terms of comedies, the shows that Adam and I could watch over and over again, Parks and Rec, top of the list. If you haven't watched Parks and Rec, I was going to say turn off my video and go and watch that, but finish my video first, then go watch Parks and Rec. The American Office, not the British one, the American one. We have watched the British one, but it's not for me. The American one though, however, is wonderful. The Good Place, wonderful series. I'm doing a lot of this. What else? Schitt's Creek, we've watched that twice in the past year, love Schitt's Creek. And Community is a really good one as well. In terms of not like short 20-minute comedy shows, I love Gossip Girl. I've watched Gossip Girl twice. Grey's Anatomy, though I haven't watched the newest series because that's only just come to the UK, I think, so I'm about to watch that. But Gossip Girl, Grey's Anatomy. And then in terms of like TV, I love property shows. Location, grand designs, anything like that. I am obsessed with because I am a little bit obsessed with property, which probably leads on to a couple of other questions that I've had quite naturally. I've had a couple of people asking, because I mentioned in my last vlog that we are looking at buying a house some point in the next year. I'm not sure when, but at some point in the next year. So I had a couple of questions that were about whether we'd consider moving from Leeds, and then a couple of questions about sort of house buying tips. So would we move from Leeds? Probably not to stay in the UK. I could see us living in Manchester or Edinburgh, but I love Leeds so much. There's no point us moving to anywhere else in the UK other than Leeds because we love Leeds. What we could envisage and what we really hope will happen is that we're going to move abroad. So Adam did grow up abroad and I really want to live somewhere sunny, somewhere on the beach. I've just got this dream and I don't know when we'll make it happen, but at some point in my life I really want to move abroad, and I just think it would be so fun to just experience a completely different lifestyle and a different culture and just see more of the world. I'm really passionate about traveling and I want to see the world, and I just think why wouldn't you want to go and live on a beach? So in terms of the UK, Manchester, I could see us there, Edinburgh, but really I think it's very unlikely that we would live anywhere else in the UK other than Leeds. House buying tips. Well, house buying at the moment is, it is an intense situation. So if you're not based in the UK or if you don't know much about property, we are having a stamp duty holiday at the moment. So stamp duty is basically a tax that you have to pay to the government when you buy a property. Because of COVID and furlough and everything like that, the government in the UK put a holiday on stamp duty, meaning that depending on your situation, so whether you're a first-time buyer or you're buying a second home or you're buying property to let, they reduced the amount of this tax that you would have to pay when you buy a property. So a lot of people are rushing to buy properties because it was meant to end in March, I believe, but it's been extended in one way or another till September. So a lot of people at the moment are rushing to buy property. A lot of people as well have taken lockdown to think about what they want out of life and have decided maybe they want to move out a little bit and have more space or get a garden or move away from their parents. A lot of people are looking for property at the moment. So the market out there in the UK is crazy at the moment. Things are selling so quickly. So what I would say, my top tip is know your budget, because then that makes it easier for you. If you know what your top budget is, then you don't have to look at those properties that are out of that range, and you don't have to get heartbroken when you can't afford something that you've been to visit. Just don't do it. Don't go and see things that you can't afford, because it is not worth the emotional stress of falling in love with something and finding out you can't afford it. The next thing I'd say is make a list of what's important to you. Recently, I've figured out that what's important to me when it comes to a property has changed. So I would have always said location was most important to me, but I'm starting to realize that the house and a garden matters a little bit more. So it's really important for you to know what matters most. So write down a list of what you want from a house and then number it. So what is the most important? What's non-negotiable? What can you be a little bit more flexible on? Because then you know what to compare a house to. So if you see a house that you really like, or say there's two houses that you really like, you can look at it as almost like a score sheet and be like, what ticks off more of what we want, and know what your non-negotiables are. So for me, a garden is non-negotiable, and good sized bedrooms, because Adam and I both work from home, they're non-negotiable things. So go into your search knowing what's non-negotiable, but at the same time, be flexible where you can be. So for us, location would have never been something I would have been flexible on. But because of the current situation and housing prices, regardless of all this, they've been going up for a while now. I have to choose what I can be flexible on, and I've realised that location is something that I can be a bit flexible on. So I'd say know your budget, know what your priorities are, and know what you can be flexible on is probably like my best tips. If you want me to do more of a like dedicated house buying video, let me know, because we bought this flat, and I did also used to work in property at a estate agent. So if you have any more specific questions about property and the house buying process in the UK, let me know, because it's something I'm extremely passionate about, and I would love to do a video. I'm not a professional solicitor, mortgage advisor or anything, but I can talk about my experience. So let me know if that's something you are interested in. So I had a couple of questions about my job, what I do, and about YouTube. So someone asked, would I make a full-time career out of YouTube? Someone said, would you go full-time if it was the same salary as your job? So I'll start with what I do. I work in internal communications and employee engagement. So my role is to make the company that I work at the best company it can be for our employees. So part of that is making sure that our internal communications are running well. So making sure our employees know what they need to know, and also in reverse, that we as an organisation hear what they have to say. So be that through surveys or different kind of communication platforms. So there's that side of it. There's also the employee engagement side of it. So making sure it's the best place to work that it can be. So part of my job is looking after employee volunteering, fundraising, well-being is a huge part of my job. So just really looking after our employees. So in a nutshell, it's partly internal communications and partly employee engagement. So it's a bit of a widespread role, and I do really like what I do. It's kind of amazing that I get to help make people's days better as my job. Like I feel very lucky to have that as a job. Would I want to go full-time in YouTube? I'm not going to say no, because I don't know what the future holds for me. Maybe one day, but what I would say at this point is I don't know if I see that being a possibility. And also my professional career is something that's quite important to me. I'm quite career driven, maybe a little bit less so than I used to be, which is good, because it used to be like, it was detrimentally career driven, like just so focused on what's next. I've relaxed a little bit now, maybe because of YouTube. I've got something else to put a bit of focus on. I don't know, one, if YouTube would ever be enough of an income source for me to fund a full-time role, and two, I don't know if I'd want to let go of that professional side of me. And the other thing is, YouTube is, social media is temperamental. I don't know if I would ever trust that this would last long term. And I feel like I've said this before, but once you step out of the professional market, the world moves on. And say I quit my job and did YouTube for 5 years and then needed to go back and do like a 9-to-5 job, my experience wouldn't have kept up, and I'd worry about whether I could jump back in, if that makes sense. So I don't know, maybe one day, but I just don't see it being feasible. What I do see as being feasible, and what I do want to do, is to go part-time. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, but one day I hope that maybe I'll be able to do a couple of days a week in my job and a couple of days a week doing YouTube. I think that would be a really nice mixture for me, but I'm not there yet. I had a couple of questions asking if Adam and I wanted to have kids, and the answer to that is probably not. I don't know if I've spoken about this on my channel before, but I don't currently, and I think Adam agrees, well, I'm pretty sure he agrees, I don't currently foresee children in my life. I just, you know, when you look in your future and you look 10, 20, 30 years in the future, I just don't see kids in that picture. And I don't know, that could change. I don't want to be like, I'm never going to have kids, because I change my mind a lot. But for the past few years, I've just not had any desire whatsoever to have kids. I'm 27, we're 28 in summer. That was another question. I'm 27, by the way, at killing two birds with one stone. I'm 27 now, and I just, in the next 10 years, don't see myself having a child. There's too much I want to do. There's too much I want to see. And for me, having a child doesn't fit into that. That's not to say that we won't change our mind in the future. And if we do, we'll probably just adopt, because I'm not so keen on having a child naturally. Anyway, it freaks me out. Like, I know it's meant to be natural and beautiful and wonderful, but for me, the thought just is absolutely terrifying. And I have very little, if not no, interest in like birthing a human. So if we were to ever change our mind, we'll probably adopt. And I don't know what the future's going to hold, but at this point in time, I don't see kids in my future. Someone else also asked if we were planning to get married. Well, I'm not engaged, but I do think it's something that is on the cards in the future. This is a very, like, it's awkward, quite like conversation to have without Adam here with me. But personally, I do think it's something that we will do in the future. It's just not the right time, but hopefully at some point in the future it will be, because I love planning events, and for some people planning a wedding would be a nightmare, and I'm sure it's gonna be super, super stressful, but I love the thought of planning a wedding. So I'm just like imagining all the binders and folders and spreadsheets and things that I'd have. Love a spreadsheet. So I think it would be super fun to plan a wedding. So hopefully at some point in the future, but weddings are just so expensive. That's the other thing. Like, it's just a lot of money. On the topic of Adam, I had a couple of questions about how we met. We actually met at university. So we met when I was in my first year. So Adam was on the same course as me, just the year above. And we met because Adam was putting on some music gigs at the time, and not so much anymore, but I did used to like play gigs and write music and things. I haven't played music in quite a while, but it used to be like everything to me. And Adam was putting on some gigs with some friends, and I went and played at one of them sort of halfway through my first year. So we met when I was 18, but we didn't really start hanging out until I was 20. So we started hanging out. It was in my last year. I had to defer my last year because my mum passed away when I was in my third year of university, so I ended up deferring and finishing it a year later. So it was in my third year, if that makes sense. And Adam was working as a technician on the course, so he did the same degree as me. We both did performance, and he ended up becoming a technician, so doing like lights and sound and things like that. And we were doing my classmates were, I wasn't at this point because I'd deferred, but my year group was doing their end of degree performances, and Adam was hired temporarily at the time to come and help out with the lighting and the sound and so on. And so we just ended up hanging out a little bit more. We were always like in circles that crossed a little bit, but our circles kind of merged quite a bit at that point. We started hanging out for a couple of weeks, and then we just started spending more time together, and then that progressed, and 5 years later, here we are. I got a couple of questions relating to weight. So one was about weight loss surgery, which I'll come on to in a minute, and one was about trying to lose weight. I've been really quite open with you on this channel about sort of where I'm at with that. And the honest answer is, today, in this moment, I'm not trying to lose weight. That doesn't mean that I don't want to, but right now I'm not trying. Something that I've learned through my body positivity journey, learning to love myself journey, whatever you want to call it, is that whenever I've tried to lose weight in the past, it's been for a negative reason. It's been because I hate myself. I don't want to be myself. I don't want to live as myself. I want to change myself. It's never been driven from a positive place of love for myself. And it's never worked. I've always put on more weight than I've ever lost, and it's always been like just quite an unhealthy relationship to weight loss. So I've spent the past 2 years learning to love myself as I am. And I truly believe that if I'm ever going to lose weight, it has to be out of love for myself. So it can't be about me standing in the mirror and wanting to look different. It can't be about the numbers on a scale. For me, if I'm going to lose weight, it's going to be because I love my body and I want to look after my body and I want to see my body get stronger and fitter and be more able to do things. So I've kind of spent the pandemic surviving in a way. I have put weight on in the pandemic, and I'm not going to get angry at myself for that because I have been surviving. The world has been tough for the past year for so many of us, and we have been lucky. We have kept our jobs, we have kept safe. Our close relatives have all, touch wood, been okay through the pandemic. So I'm not going to sit here and complain, but it has been tough. As you know, we have been self-isolating pretty much for a year because Adam is high risk. So other than when I went to Antigua to film the TV show, which I stayed by myself for 2 weeks after to quarantine, we've hardly left this apartment for a year. So there's not many steps that you can do in an apartment. I'm not very good at exercising at home. Probably an excuse, but it's the truth. I only do exercise well when I'm at the gym, and I haven't been able to go to the gym. And when it comes to eating and cooking and just being conscious of what I've been eating, we've just been surviving. And I need to forgive myself and allow myself to have put on this weight just to get through this past year. Now, we're coming out of it, hopefully. Restrictions are lifting in the UK and things are starting to get a bit easier and starting to open, and the gyms are open. I'm not going to the gym just yet because I just want to see how things pan out over the next few weeks. Adam's had both his vaccines, but I've only had one. So I'm probably going to wait until I've had my second vaccine, and then I'm going to go back to the gym. And it's not going to be about weight loss for me. It's going to be about getting fitter and getting stronger again. So at some point soon I'll be back at the gym, and if I get fitter and I get stronger, I will probably lose weight, but I'm not going to be there weighing myself, tracking what I've lost. It's going to be more about what can I do with my body, if that makes sense. So at the moment, no, I'm not trying to lose weight, but at some point in the near future I will be going back to looking after my body a little bit more. So the other question was about weight loss surgery, and really, this is a difficult one. I honestly don't know. It's easy to say no, I wouldn't do it because I've never had the opportunity presented to me. If a doctor came to me tomorrow and said, we can offer it to you, I will hand on heart tell you right now, I don't know what I would say. I honestly don't know. Obviously, there's this part of me that would love this quick and easy fix, but I know from experience that that is not the case. My mum had weight loss surgery when I was a young kid. I think it was a gastric sleeve when they were quite new. It didn't help her lose weight. In fact, it just gave her a lifetime of problems to deal with. Weight loss surgery isn't a magic, you have the surgery and then you lose weight. You have to make lifestyle changes alongside weight loss surgery. And for me, my weight issues come from an emotional place. I'm an emotional eater. That's why I'm the size I am. So for me, a weight loss surgery wouldn't solve that problem. I would still be an emotional eater. So weight loss surgery wouldn't fix that, if that makes sense. So I think for me, what I more need to do is spend my time and energy on fixing that emotional eating that I have, which is what I've been trying to do, and I'm probably going to be working on for the rest of my life. So hand on heart answer is, I don't know. I don't think so, but I honestly don't know, but I don't think that I would do weight loss surgery. Someone said, what did you do at uni and how did that lead you to becoming an influencer? I've never thought about it as uni led me to being an influencer, but maybe there's some aspect of it. Also, the word influencer is a little bit strange. I would say I'm a content creator. Obviously, some people would call it influencing. I just feel a little bit... I like content creator more because that's what I do. I create content for you to watch and hopefully enjoy. But I did performance at uni, so actually it probably makes sense that that has in a way led me to doing this. So I never planned to be a YouTuber. It was never anything I'd ever imagined. And for the first few months of doing it, it was literally just I'm just filming a video in my bedroom, I'll put it out there and see if someone watches, and you guys did and you continued to, and so I continued to do it, and now I see it as a potential, like I just said, part-time career. And it would make sense that my background in performance means that I'm potentially more comfortable on camera. I have some of the skills from, like, we made some videos at uni, so I had a bit of an idea about editing and a bit of an idea about lighting. Having a sound and lighting technician as a boyfriend is very helpful. But I have self-taught myself quite a lot of it. But he's been there when I can just be like, I can't get my lights right. He can come in and fix it. Like now, I feel like it's getting darker. But, you know, let's not start playing with the lights or I'm going to mess it up. But it is quite potentially likely that the skills I learned at uni in performance have helped me to become more comfortable on camera. It hasn't been a direct correlation, but it's probably benefited me and made it a little bit easier for me to get started. I had one comment which was so sweet, thank you so much, that says, do you know that you've become my aspiration? I want to be as happy as you someday. First of all, thank you so much. That's such a sweet thing for you to say. But what I would say is, be careful of aspiring to be people on social media when it comes to happiness. What you see, we'll take me as an example, but it's the same with all people on social media. What you see is a very small snapshot of my life. I'm working really hard through my vlogs and through my other content to let you into as much of my life as I feel comfortable sharing, but you still see a curated section of my life. I've been quite open and said that I do struggle with my mental health, mainly anxiety and spouts of depression. Spouts of depression? Periods of depression. I don't know if that's the right saying. And naturally, I'm less likely to get on camera when I'm in that place. I'm trying to get better at showing you the good and the bad and the ups and the downs for this very reason, that social media is not a whole person's life. They are going to show you exactly what they want you to see, and that's probably going to be the best snapshot of their life. So when you're looking at someone on social media and saying you want to be like them so that you can be as happy as them, you're probably only seeing, for the majority, you're probably only seeing the happy parts. You're not seeing the fact that I've had a tough couple of days for no big reason. I've just been struggling a little bit the past couple of days, and I've not got on camera because I've not felt like I wanted to. Like I find it difficult to get on camera when I'm not happy, which probably makes sense. But you don't necessarily see the points where I'm not happy. So I am happy overall. This isn't me trying to be like, oh my goodness, I'm not okay, because I am. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't see the full picture, so try not to aspire to anyone else's happiness because it isn't the full picture, if that makes sense. But still, I just wanted to say thank you because it was a really nice comment and it really touched me. But I always worry, and this is why I'm trying to be more open, I always worry that people will see a snapshot of my life on social media and think that I'm okay all the time and then question why they can't be. I think I've said this a couple of times before, but just remember that when you're watching someone on social media, you're just seeing a glimpse of their life. There's so much more good and bad to their life. So hopefully that, I don't know if helps is the right word, but hopefully it at least makes sense. Someone said Costa or Starbucks. I would say whichever is closer. I used to be a Costa girl, but now I'd just say whichever is closer. Someone asked, are you taking care of yourself as much as you should? I hope so. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you asking. I am doing my best at the moment, all things considered. So my life at the moment is still pretty much contained to this apartment. As I've said, I've pretty much covered this question throughout the video unintentionally. I am having up days and I'm having down days, but I know that the end of this is hopefully in sight, and I'm getting so excited about planning my life outside of lockdown. So we're hopefully going to be going to Asia at Christmas. We're going to be buying a house. I can see my friends. I can see my family. I'm very excited now for life outside of lockdown. There are up and down days. Like I said, I do struggle with anxiety and I sometimes struggle with depression. So there are days or weeks sometimes where it's a little bit harder, but on the whole, I'm doing okay. In terms of like looking after my body, we've covered that. I could be doing more and I will be doing more soon. We probably just need to eat a couple less takeaways, but getting through the pandemic, like I said, has been about surviving. So on the whole, I am okay. Thank you very much. Obviously, I have ups and downs, but on the whole, I'm doing okay. I had quite a few questions about my sister Layla, actually. So if you don't know, my sister Layla has been on my channel a couple of times, and we've done quite a few try-on hauls where we compare what the clothes look like on my size versus her size, and she's been in one of my vlogs, but I've really not been able to see her much throughout lockdown at all, and I cannot wait to see her again. I'm hoping soon. She did put a cheeky question in saying something like, who's the first person you're going to see after lockdown? There's only one correct answer. So, you know, hopefully it's going to be you. So there were a few questions about like how she's doing and what her job is and so on. What I would say is she seems to be doing so well, and I'm so happy for her and I'm so proud of her, and I'm just really, really glad that she seems to be in a really, really good place. Other than that, I'm probably not going to say anything. I'm not going to tell you what her job is. I'm not going to tell you what she's getting up to, because something I kind of struggle with is talking about other people on social media. It's not a struggle, it's just something that I'm really concerned with, that I've made this decision to be open with you guys about my life, but that doesn't mean that other people in my life have. So what I can do, if you're interested, is when I get back with Layla, hopefully in the next few weeks or months, whatever it is, I could ask her if she wants to do a little bit of a life update or something, and you guys can ask her your questions yourself and she can choose what to answer. If you're interested in that, let me know, because I can always ask her. I'm sure she'd be up for it. Layla, let me know, text me. But I'd be more comfortable with letting her tell you about her life rather than me, if that makes sense. But what I would say is she's doing great and I miss her so, so much, and I cannot wait to film with her again. So what would be a next question? When did you pass your driving test, and did you pass the first time? Passed the second time, and I've been driving I got my license in 2017. So a good couple of years now. Where can you get heels for extra wide feet that really fit? Love your channel. Thank you so much. So yeah, I have extra wide feet and there are only 3, maybe 4 places that I can get shoes from, and that's Simply Be, Evans, yours, and at a push sometimes I can fit into a Primark extra wide shoe. Not very often, but sometimes. For heels, I'd say any of those, Simply Be, Evans, or yours. Usually Simply Be is where I get my heels from, but any of those 3. I did get a couple of questions that were about like body positivity, body confidence, learning to love yourself, and I actually have done a full like 20-minute video on that whole topic. So what I'd probably say is the best thing to do is to watch that, because I did really go in depth and I talk about my whole journey and how I've got to where I am and where I want to get to. So I will link that up in the cards and in the description. So if you want to know more about that, I would probably say watch that, because I said it so much better in that 20-minute video than I could ever say in like 30 seconds answering this question. Speaking of body positivity, I did have a question that said, you are wearing a lot of crop tops at home. Are you comfortable wearing them out? This is something that I've been really working on. I want to get to the stage where anything I can do on camera, I can do out in the real world. This is a really safe space for me. I feel so comfortable talking to you guys at home, showing my body in all its glory to you guys at home as much as I can without getting demonetized. But out in the real world it's a different ball game. When I was filming the Big Body Hotel, which I did have a couple of questions about, so I'll finish with those in a minute, this might sound strange. Even though I knew what we were doing was going to be on TV, it was easier for me to stand there in a bikini than it would be for me to go and do that on a beach without the camera crew. And I think it's because the camera crew like gave a layer of protection. Like, you knew that I was there doing, I can't explain it, but it's almost like a performance. Like, if the camera is there, although I'm being me, it is performative in a way, because I'm speaking to camera. This isn't normal. It's not normal to speak to camera. So I could kind of put like this performative protective veil around myself, if that makes sense. But if I am just stood on a beach in a bikini, I am just me. I am just a very plus size stranger who dares to wear a bikini out in public, and that feels a little bit differently. So I have been working really hard to be able to do what I can do on camera out in the real world. And the other day, for the first time, I wore a crop top just in normal life. Like, I went to the shop wearing a crop top, and it was just me, normal person, stranger on the street, wearing a crop top. And I actually felt great. Like, I looked really good. Like, I'll pop up a picture because I did take an Instagram picture in the outfit, I think. If I did, I'll pop up a picture. But I just felt great, and like, I was so much more comfortable than I thought I was going to be. Obviously, I was still conscious, but I have been working so hard on being confident that I was nowhere near as conscious as I thought I was going to be. And it's something that I'm going to keep working on, because I don't want anything on camera to be not a lie, but not the full truth, if that makes sense. And why can I stand here in a crop top or a bikini but not do it in the real world? And why should I? Because if I can't do it, what right do I have standing here telling you to be confident, wearing a bikini, like loving it? What right do I have to do that if I can't do that in real life? I hope that makes sense. I don't feel like I'm explaining myself very well. So I'm doing it more and more. It isn't like the easiest thing. Like, I do have bad days where I'm feeling less confident, as everyone does. As I've always said, body positivity is a journey. There's ups and downs, but I'm getting there. And I wore my Tide t-shirt to Aldi and I had a great time and I felt amazing. And when the sun comes back out again, you know I will be wearing my crop tops out in public again. So I'm going to finish off with a couple of questions about the TV show, just because I feel like we have been rambling for a long time, which is not a surprise because if you've been here for a while, I do ramble and I do talk a lot. But I did have a couple of questions. I'm just trying to find them about the TV show that I filmed. So if you're new here and you don't know, back in October, I went to Antigua to film a TV show called The Big Body Hotel, which took various groups of plus size people out to Antigua to stay at a hotel that had been designed for plus size people. So it had bigger beds, stronger deck chairs, and we had this really empowering experience. Some of us were there to learn to love ourselves, and some of us were there to continue along that journey and sort of help each other along that journey. And it was just a beautiful experience. If you want to know more, I will link my vlog that I filmed whilst there. It's called The Big Body Hotel. It is on Discovery Plus, only in the UK at the moment, but I'll link everything down below. So one of the questions I had was, did you like being filmed for a TV show? Was it not strange? It was so strange. I think it was easier for me because I'm used to being on camera, but it was still strange because when I do this, when I do YouTube, I'm fully in charge of what you guys see. I film it, I edit it, I upload it, I do everything myself. So everything you see is controlled by myself, and that gives me a layer of protection, and it makes me feel comfortable because I know that I control everything. I'm a bit of a control freak. But being on TV, I had no say whatsoever in what was put out. I obviously had a say in what I did and what I said, but the TV production company, they did the edit. I didn't see it until it was on TV. And I trusted them. I really did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I knew that the ethos was such a positive one, and the message was going to be beautiful and positive, but it's still scary. It is still scary. So it was strange. And having the TV, like, film crew around you is strange. Like, it's one thing having a camera here, but like cameras there, microphones on. Like, it was a very strange experience, but I actually loved it. And again, not surprisingly, I loved it because I do this all the time. So I did really enjoy it, and I would probably want to do more TV again in the future. In fact, I know I would want to do more TV. I'd want to do the right things. Like, I'd be quite selective. If I'm talking like I've got like offers on the table left, right and centre. If opportunities came to me, I would be interested in the right things, but it was strange and it did take some getting used to. And I was asked if I'm still in contact with anyone from Antigua. I'm still very much in contact with Jade, and we are hopefully soon going to be going and doing some more photo shoots. She doesn't live too far from me, so we have got a cocktail date in the diary as soon as things allow. And like in the TV show, we are going to go and do some photo shoots, and Jade was a very good photographer for me. Like, a lot of my photos from Antigua, Jade took. In fact, every picture that wasn't like a selfie, Jade took. So very much in touch with Jade and looking forward to seeing her in the UK as soon as possible. And then there's other people that I keep in touch with, but just not quite as much as I do keep in touch with Jade. And there's a couple of people that I speak to that weren't in my episode, which is really nice. It's been nice to talk to people who have shared the experience that weren't in my group and just get to know more people that way. But Jade's the one that I'm probably the most in contact with. So I think, I'm just going to double check there wasn't anything else like glaring that I've missed. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. If you've enjoyed this video and you want me to do more like this, let me know, because I know I didn't answer everything, but I just know this video is gonna be super long. But I'd be more than happy to do another one of these videos if there's more that you'd like to know, because like I said, I find it really, really fun. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and if you want me to do more of these kind of videos. If you did enjoy it, if you could give the video a thumbs up, that would be super, super helpful for me. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, well, if you want to subscribe and stick around, I would really love to have you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to each and every one of you who submitted a question. Can you tell I'm getting tired now? Let's wrap this video up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!